Hi guys, welcome to Reconfidence with Paps. If this is your first time, so good to see you. And if you're coming back, karibu and thanks for choosing this channel as one of your go-to places. So, in the next few weeks, we're going to be having a question that we need to answer together. Where did your ball go? Yeah, where did it go? I mean, you were born bald. You remember the way you're the sperm that won? And you are unapologetic when you're just in your mother's, you're just pushing the limits. I mean, the poor lady was just puking and morning sickness and everything, and you didn't care. And then you showed up, you were crying out your lungs for everything you wanted. And then when you were young, you wanted to be a pilot. Me, I wanted to be a lawyer. What happened? What happened? And so, where did your bold go is actually a conversation that is based on a book I've done, Reconfidence, which is about get your ball back. And you know what? It is possible that we have lost confidence in many places. Confidence trickles, confidence drips, confidence leakages, but it's possible to get your ball back. And so for the next few weeks, stay with me. And the first conversation we're going to have, like probably these 4 pieces, it will be about looking at right now, and then later we'll be looking at the past, looking at the future, looking at the present, because all those places are perspectives that we can gain on what's happening to our world. And so I'm going to start with a story about me. And I am this girl that was very confident. You can't believe when I was 5 years old, I was just here rocking, thank you, Mr. DJ, for playing my song. Hey, Bana, I danced. What happened to that talent, Bana? I should have been a vixen by now somewhere, or a choreographer. Well, never mind. But I remember that day dancing, and someone just offered to pay our bill, like I was good entertainment for that facility. And when you think about it, that girl that I was then, because I danced on the streets severally, it's only that that one was the highlight. That girl still lives in me. And then now, few years later, I'm this teenager who is struggling with depression and feeling suicidal. And then a few years later, I'm this young adult who is really doubtful about what she wants to do, what she wants to become, and so many other places. And then later, starting to unpack this journey, because self-awareness is key for you to set out on your get my ball back journey. You need to start unpacking where you are. And so your story is the most powerful thing. And when you look back at your life, what are some of the places you can see that were confidence leakages for you? So I've told you about my teenagehood crisis, and of course upbringing issues, because I mean we didn't grow up in perfect homes. Yeah, some of us probably got abused, some of us probably just grew up in a home that was not affirming, that didn't believe in you, a home that didn't have direction. Some of us have raised ourselves, some of us have grown up feeling abandoned and neglected. And regardless of what your story is, it's possible to get your ball back. And so in this journey that I shall be taking together, it's looking at where you are, and where you are, and where you can be, or even if you don't do anything about it, where you will end up, because it's about making decisions. And so today I just want us to think about the fact that we have an origin and we have a destiny. And so just for a moment, where do you think you came from? You know, when you look at yourself, of course, it's easy to say, I came from my parents, I was born in that home. But one of the things that I really love when I read Psalms 139, it talks about even before I was formed in my mother's womb, God knew me. All my days were numbered before even one of them began. And I think when I think about my origin and everything that has happened in my life, it's possible for me to feel like, was this it? You know, I feel like probably I'm even the better one in my family. I feel like probably things are not together. I feel like I have so many traumas from where I came from. But how does that land differently when you know that I came from God? I came from God, and then God chose the family that I was born in, and so I did not choose my parents. They didn't even choose me. Some of us are actually oops babies. You're just a mistake, and your parents probably keep on reminding you that. But have you ever thought that it's actually God who chose for you to be born, and for you to be born in that home? You know, and one day that it would all make sense when I look at what was the bigger plan for my life. And so when I think about my origin, just that part of reminding myself I came from God really lands differently, because then it starts to make sense. I'm part of something bigger than myself. I'm part of something bigger than my family. I'm part of something bigger than my generation. In a way, whatever I am doing will have a ripple effect even post my lifetime. And I like to think of it this way. Life is a stage, and so probably like this seat. I was here before, and then I show up. And then I do my thing, my career, family, everything. And then after that, I exit the stage. And then someone else comes. And if I think about the creation story, it's been many, many generations, hundreds of years, thousands of years of different people coming. But all of us are living for one thing, which is the bigger plan of God. And so when I think about it from that perspective, my origin makes a deeper sense. And it doesn't matter what has happened in the before of my life. Just looking at David, I mean, he was this person who did not come from a perfect family, a lot of childhood trauma, lots of rejection just from his story, but yet he becomes one of the greatest kings of Israel. And so to just see yourself in that lineage, when I realize I came from God, my lineage changes, my DNA shifts, and I see myself from a bigger thing than just where I came from. And so my origin in terms of my family stops becoming a limitation, it actually becomes an opportunity. I become a Joseph who is actually seeing myself as a savior for my family, instead of just seeing myself as someone who has sibling rivalries that couldn't end when he was young, and rejection because my brothers didn't think I'm the part, and my old dad, and we are not told about, we know about Joseph's mom, but about David's mom, we are not told much about her. And it's possible, it doesn't add up in terms of your identity, in terms of your upbringing. Probably you're not the favorite person in your family. Some of us feel like black sheep. But how does it land differently when you realize my origin was God? Just changes, because I realize I am here for something bigger than my limitations. And those limitations can actually become opportunity to do something bigger and to become someone greater. And that is a perspective to look at it. And then also, when you think about get your ball back, it's also thinking about your destination. The fact that this is a limited stage. I came from there, and then I'm here, 70 years, 80 years. How many years do you want to live? So just think about that on your case. And then after here, I'll not be here anymore. When you think about my destination, it's after I'm done here, I'm going somewhere else. And so how do I prepare for where I'm going? And even right now, if you're probably younger, how are you preparing for your future? In terms of the marriage you will go to, the children that will come and you will go to, your professional aspirations that you will go to. What are you doing right now to prepare for that? Because get your ball back is being able to see the bigger picture, preparing for it, investing in it, and of course working for it. And I remember myself, I had so many interchanges in life. Like when I was probably before 25, I used to have these short stints of jobs. Sometimes you end up with this job that you're not being paid even for several months. You quit and then you stay jobless for a while. And I remember during those times, there's one moment that I actually wrote what I would want to see in my house. And so I was like, jikoni yangu, my kitchen will have all these things. My living room will have all these things. I mean, by then I was actually living with someone in a bedsitter that was so tiny. No, it was not a bedsitter. Well, it was a single room. The toilet and bathroom was outside. And I remember that time when we were living in that house. It was a very tiny house where you needed to go out. You know those rooms that you say you needed to go out to change your mind because I couldn't space. That was my situation. So we could not even function together. We were three of us. A few people had to exit for any activity to happen. Yeah, by the time tumetoka mbali kama mchanga ya choo. You know, and I just remember those times. That is when I wrote all the things I would ever want to see in my future. I remember writing all the suits I want to wear. Honestly, I have nothing for suits nowadays. I think it was just a dream. But at least I can afford those suits looking back. But that time, my future was so uncertain. And being able to see the bigger picture of your life when you're in the least of spaces in life, I think that is what keeps the hope and also rises up the faith to be able to trust for something bigger. And so if you're probably in a place where you're thinking, get your ball back, like right now perhaps things look so bad, the best thing you can do right now is dream, and dreaming is free. Just think about, if I got my ball back, what will happen? How do I want my story to end? I'm not happy with how it began. Probably I'm not happy with how it's unfolding right now, but I can choose the ending. And you know, one of the ways to choose the ending is to remember your origin. To just remember that I'm not in control, but I can trust the one who is in control. And probably just looking back at my life, it has just been a story of faith and trusting in God. And I'll share my story probably in one of the future videos. And so please subscribe and share as well. And maybe just bringing this to a landing. When you think about origin and destination, is to just remember I am not in charge of my origin. I didn't choose how my story will unfold. But how it ends, it's up to me. And it's up to you as well. And so, see you in the next one. Subscribe, like, share, and see you when you see me.